Hey Alex, have you ever heard of suprematism?
Suprematism? No, I don't think so. What is it all about?
Well, suprematism was an art movement that emerged in the early 20th century, founded by a Russian artist named Kazimir Malevich. It was all about creating abstract art that stripped visuals down to their simplest forms while incorporating geometric shapes and limited colors.
That sounds really intriguing. So, it was like minimalism in art?
Exactly. Suprematism shares minimalist ideals, but it takes a step further by focusing on basic geometric shapes like circles, squares, lines, and rectangles. The artists aim to express themselves without using words or typography, relying solely on these shapes.
That's interesting. So, what are the key characteristics of suprematism?
The main characteristic of suprematism is simplicity and reduction. The artists aim to find the zero degree of painting, pushing the boundaries of the medium without ceasing to be art. They used extremely simple motifs and forms, often emphasizing the use of geometric shapes.
So what did Kazimir Malevich mean by the progression of black, colored, and white?
According to Malevich, the progression started with a black face, which marked the beginnings of suprematism. The famous black square exemplified this phase, representing the zero point of painting. Then came the colored stage, known as the dynamic suprematism, which focused on the use of color and shape to create a sense of movement in space. Finally, Malevich described suprematism as the primacy of pure feeling in creative art, where the objective's world visual phenomena were considered meaningless compared to the significance of feeling itself.
Wow! That's quite a deep exploration of art. How did suprematism originate?
Suprematism originated in the early 20th century Russia during a time of political and social turmoil. Kazimir Malevich, influenced by Cubists like Picasso and futurists like Boccioni, started experimenting with minimalist forms. He created extremely minimalist backgrounds for a play called Victory Over the Sun in 1913, which became the catalyst for his new art movement.
It's really fascinating how artists find inspiration in unexpected places. What happened after Malevich started suprematism?
Well, when Malevich introduced suprematism to the public, it was met with mixed reactions. In 1915, he organized the first suprematism art show featuring the infamous black square hung in the corner where the religious paintings traditionally appeared. While some were horrified, it was clear that the revolutionary climate of the time influenced not just politics but also art. After the Russian Revolution, suprematism gained more prominence and many artists joined the movement, propelling it to international fame.
It's incredible how historical events shape artistic movements. Do you have any examples of suprematist artworks?
Definitely. One of the most iconic suprematist works is Kazimir Malevich's White Square on White. It is a geometric abstraction without any reference to external reality. The white square represents the transcendent state reached through suprematism, with its lines generating a feeling of space without limits.
That's quite thought-provoking. What about Malevich Black Square?
The famous black square. Malevich referred to it as the zero point of painting, where he transformed himself from nothing to creation. The black square represented a godlike presence or even the godlike quality within Malevich himself. It's a powerful symbol of simplicity and complexity simultaneously.
I can see how these artworks challenge conventional notions of art. Are there any other notable suprematist artists?
Absolutely. Another prominent suprematist artist was Olga Rozanova. Her work, Abstract Composition, widened the color palette while still focusing on simplistic geometric shapes. She was inspired by the textures of fabric and sought to replicate those feelings through paint.
It's interesting to see how each artist brings their unique perspective to suprematism. Are there any other examples?
Yes, there's L. Lisitsky's painting. Lisitsky was influenced by Malevich and became one of the leading exponents of constructivism. His work reflects the principles of suprematism, showcasing the use of geometric forms and transfigured color to evoke emotional and physical associations.
Suprematism seems to have garnered both praise and criticism. How was it received?
You're right. Suprematism faced criticism for being nihilistic, esoteric, and even connected to mysticism. Some questioned whether it was even art. However, despite the controversies, suprematism gained popularity, particularly in the West, where exhibitions were organized and suprematist artworks remained popular among art collectors.
It's really intriguing how art movements can evoke such diverse reactions. What is suprematism's heritage?
Suprematism has had a significant influence on other art movements. It's closely linked to constructivism and has greatly impacted geometric abstract art. Many contemporary artists can be labeled as suprematists, as Malevich's heritage continues to shape and inspire artistic practices today.
Suprematism is truly an intriguing and thought-provoking art movement. It challenges traditional notions of art, focusing on simplicity, reduction, and pure feeling. Learning about its origins, key characteristics, and exploring examples of suprematist artworks has broadened my understanding of abstract art.
Absolutely. Suprematism's influence on the art world cannot be ignored, and its legacy lives on through contemporary artists. It's fascinating how artists like Malevich and Rosanova found new ways to express themselves and push the boundaries of art during a time of social and political change.
Indeed, art has a remarkable way of reflecting the spirit of its time. Exploring different artistic movements opens up new perspective and insights. Thanks for sharing this captivating conversation about suprematism.
You're welcome. I'm glad you found it interesting. Art has the power to transcend boundaries and ignite conversations. Let's continue exploring more fascinating topics together in the future.